So welcome to this week's video. I've lost track of how many videos we're up to now, so I won't attempt to guess. So the equipment that you will need for this class, you'll need something in replacement for a belt, something to sit on for cross legs, and either a blanket or a towel as well, and something in place of bricks. So just sitting now in cross legs, as long as you're comfortable in cross legs. So otherwise you can switch your feet over to the side. Sorry, I can't really do it on here because I'm sitting on a bolster, but you can bring your feet round by the hips and sit in Virasana Hero's pose instead. So just begin now by moving the buttock flesh out to the sides. So feeling that you're broadening the sitting bones away from each other. And then just allowing your legs to relax. So using the hands there just to help to release downwards, so not forcing downwards, just that action of releasing from the groins down into the inner knees. And then to use your fingertips behind you, lengthen your spine upwards. Just bringing the back of your head so it's in line with the back of the sacrum. So just draw your chin back slightly and then roll your shoulders back and release your shoulders down the back. So without tensing, just allowing your shoulders to soften. And then try not to disturb the shoulders now as you join your palms in front of your chest. I'm just bringing the base of your thumbs so that they're connected to the chest then. And let your eyes gently close. And just taking a moment or two to observe your body. So being aware of any sensations in the legs, the feet, the ankles. And make any adjustments that you need to so you can be comfortable. And then just finding where you're sitting evenly over both sitting bones. And make sure that you're not leaning forwards or backwards either. Let your eyes descend so the eyelids become long and soft. Face soft. And tongue soft. So just be aware of your tongue. So just settle into the jaw. And then bring your attention to breath. So just observing to start with. Then gradually bringing the breath so it becomes smooth and steady. And then keep the chest lifted now as you bow your head down. So release your hands, just rest the back of the hands onto your legs. And then slowly open your eyes towards the floor. And slowly raise your eyes and your head back to level again. Okay, so we're just going to interlock your fingers there. So turn the palms. And then stretch your arms up into Parvatasana. So bringing the arms back in line with the ears if you can, and just watching that you don't push your head forwards. Palms open, so draw the upper arms closer in towards your ears. And now bring your arms carefully down, so keeping that length in the spine, and just twist round to your right. So depending on what you're sitting on, if you've got to lean back to reach the floor, just take something to take your back hand onto. And just lengthen your spine upwards again. So pull on your knee, begin to rotate. And just keeping your head in line with your chest though, so that you're not tensing and pulling on your neck. So come back to face forwards. So shoulders back, just come back to centre, and then twist to your other side. So draw the right side of your back away from the spine. And then come back to face forwards. So we're coming forwards next in cross legs. So if you know that you need to stay on height, do. Otherwise, just bring yourself onto the floor. So if you find that your knees are very high on the floor, then sit on some height to bring them down. Also, you want to be able to lift your lower back there. So if you feel as if you're dropping, then just sit on some height to help to lift. So if you just bring your thumbs into the top of your legs, lift your chest, roll your shoulders back, and then come forwards. And then just stretch your arms forward and let your head release down towards the floor. And just take a few breaths. Okay, so walk your hands back in to come up. Now just bring your fingertips either side of your right knee. So we're going to come forwards on a parcel over to the side. So use your fingertips just to lengthen upwards again. Turn your chest towards your right knee. So your chest bones are lined up over your knee. And then we're just going to walk your arms forward from there. And bring your chin down towards your knee. So notice if your back sitting bone begun to lift. So if it has, just so you can ease it back to the floor. And just be aware of your side ribs as well. You may notice that you're bulging out a little bit on your left side. So use the stretch of your right arm and see if you can lengthen the right side ribs a little more. Okay, and then come up. Straighten up again. And then turning towards your left knee. Again, press the fingertips first of all, lengthen upwards. Turn your chest. And then walk your hands forward. So the right side of your chest is turned towards the floor. Just bring the chin down towards your knee. Doesn't matter if it's miles away from your knee. And see, do you need to creep that left hand a little further to lengthen your left side ribs? Okay, so walk your hands back in to come up. Straighten up. So just notice which leg it is that you've got in front. We'll just release your legs for a moment before we change over. So join your feet together for a moment and just stretch your legs in Dandasana. Okay, and then bring the other leg in front this time. So we're going to change the interlock of your fingers over as well. So you're bringing the other little finger onto the bottom this time. So turn the palms and stretch your arms back up again. And so push the palms towards the ceiling so the palms are open. And draw the outer upper arms closer in towards each other. And then lower your arms and twist to your right again. Now see that you're still able to lift your lower back. And if you feel like you're dropping, you can sit back on some height. So come back to face forwards, straighten up, so that the shoulders back, then twist to your other side. So draw the right side of your back forwards. Okay, and then come back to face forwards. So So coming forwards again, so if you bring your thumbs back into the top of the legs, lift your chest, roll your shoulders back, and then come forwards. And stretch your arms forward. Just take a few breaths there, using your exhalations to gradually release forward. And use the stretch of the arms as well. So if you see if you can creep your hands a little further forward so that you connect into your lower back. Okay, so walk your hands back in to come up. And then going over to the side again. So use your fingertips lightly, lengthen your spine, turn your chest, line it up over the knee, and then walk your hands forward. So you should see that the left side of your chest is turned towards the floor. And so notice what you feel in the back hip. And just check that your side ribs are even on both sides. So stretch the right up hand a little further away if you need to. And then walk your hands back in, come up. And turn to your left side again. So lengthen upwards first of all. Line the chest bone up over the knee. And then walk forwards. And so notice what you're feeling in the back hip now. Okay, and then just walk your hands back in, bring yourself up. And then just carefully stretch your legs out and release them in Dandasana. So stretch the inner heels away from you, so you're lengthening your inner legs. And really press your thighs towards the floor. So toe pad spread. Okay, so we're going to sit back on your heels next. So Adho Mukha Vrasana. So if you can't sit directly on your heels, take something on your heels. So take your knees to full width of your mat. And just see that you're firmly down on your heels first of all. And then we're going to walk forwards from there. So if your head doesn't reach the floor, then take support underneath your head. You can see that the fingers are spread. So your elbows are locked, the arms are active. The lower arms lifted. Okay, and then from there come forwards to your hands and knees to come into dog down. So if you take the little fingers, little toes to the outer edges of your mat. So see that your middle finger's facing forwards, and just spread the fingers first of all. Then press the base of your fingers into the mat. And then push up from there into dog down. And just be up on the balls of the feet for a moment first of all. So stretch the outer hips away from your hands. So lift the shoulders away from the ears. Okay, now stretch the top of the thighs up and back. Now keep that height as you begin to stretch your heels down towards the floor. So the top of the thighs stretching back. So push back just above the knees and stretch the shins back. Okay, and then from there, if you bend your knees and walk your feet forwards to come into Uttanasana. Now, so if you can't reach the floor easily with the knees straight, then take something underneath your hands. So you're going to line up the little toe side of the foot to cover
the outer edges of your mat. So going wide with your feet. And then if you just bring the weight back to your heels for a moment, lift up onto your heels, spread your toes, and then just lengthen the soles of your feet as you bring them down. So you're lengthening and broadening the feet. And the legs are firm. So pull up the kneecaps, thigh muscles. And then try not to disturb the legs now, just hold your elbows. So if you take the thumb into the crease of the opposite elbow, and just allow your elbows to hang towards the floor. Okay, now if you're really tight in the hamstrings and you struggle to keep your knees straight, you can bring your hands back down onto the floor or onto your supports again. But see that you keep the front of the legs lifted, the kneecaps and thigh muscles lifted to allow your hamstrings to release. And then just observe your breath while you're there. And notice the breath in the abdomen. So as you exhale, the abdomen should feel that it's releasing towards the diaphragm, towards the rib cage and softening. Okay, then coming back to dog down from there, so bend your knees. So place your hands down shoulder width apart this time. Yeah, making sure to spread the fingers first of all. And then step your feet well back and come back to dog down. And again, we'll just feel from the balls of the feet for a moment to start with. So get the stretch of the spine first of all. Stretching the outer hips back away from the hands. Okay, now stretch the top of the thighs up and back. And then keep that height as you begin to stretch your heels down towards the floor again. And just so we can see the feet there, make sure that your feet are pointing straight back. And so you're pushing back from the top of the thighs. So push just above the knees back. And stretch the front shins back. Okay, and then bring your knees back onto the floor now. So come back to your heels and stretch forwards into Adho Mukha Vrasana again. Again, taking support for your head if needed. So keep the stretch of the arms there, so the elbows are locked. And just observe how your body feels the second time in this pose. So now that we've stretched a little more. Okay, and then just walk your hands back in to bring yourself up to sitting. Okay, so we're going to be lying down next, so you'll need your belt next. Oh, no, sorry, we're going to lie back over a rolled up blanket next. So either a blanket or a towel. We're just going to take a small roll there and lie back over it. Okay, so if you start with your shoulders on it and then just push yourself over so that the traction of it pulls the shoulders down so you don't feel too hunched around your neck. Now it's going to be just underneath the bottom tips of the shoulder blades there. So the bottom tips of the shoulder blades are on the support. So for ladies, it's about the bra strap area. So your arms are going to be above the support, and we're just going to stretch the arms out to the side. So you're bringing the hands in line with your shoulders, palms facing upwards. But now if you're comfortable in cross legs, you can bring your legs into cross leg position. So if that feels uncomfortable on your lower back though, you can stretch bend up the legs instead. And just have your feet wide on the mat, the knees resting against each other. And you should feel that just lengthens a little more. So we're just going to lie for a couple of minutes. So just allowing the chest to gently open, but also getting some movement into that area of your back. And let go with your shoulders. Just allow your shoulders to drop towards the floor. The arms are resting. And the fingers gently curling towards the palms. I heard another teacher say, if in the class that I was taught in, if you imagine a warm pebble in the palm of each hand, that should just allow your fingers to soften and quieten. And then if you just observe your breath while you're there. It's the open position of the chest allows for slightly deeper breathing. Just observe the movement of the ribs with your inhalation. The abdomen quietly and settling back with each exhalation. Okay, so if you're in cross legs, we're just going to change the cross of your legs over now. And just making sure that you've not begun to tense in the body. The shoulders are releasing towards the floor. And just observing the movement of the breath in the body. The movement of the ribs with the inhalation. The movement of the abdomen with the exhalation. Okay, so just another 5 breaths now. Okay, so if you bring your legs back together and just turn yourself carefully to the side onto your forearm. So we'll just move that out of the way. Just slide that out from underneath and then lie flat for a moment. So if you take your feet wide on your mat and just let your knees rest together. Just allow your back to settle for a moment or two. Okay, so we're going to do eye of the needle pose. So we're going to take your feet to hip distance apart. And then, so you're going to take your right ankle across your left knee. Now use your hand first of all and just move that right knee away from you so that you get the outward rotation of your thigh bone in the hip socket. And then, so if you lift your left foot, thread your hands through and hold the back of your left thigh. Now, if you can reach easily, you can reach round and hold your shin. See that you're not pulling the shoulders away from the floor. So, if you hold your shin and find the shoulders are pulling up a long way, just hold the back thigh again instead. Now, tailbone should be down, so if it's beginning to lift. Take the knee a little further away. We're just going to stay in this for a minute. So just allow your hips time to stretch. So use your exhalations to release the hip. So after a minute or so, you may find you can bring the left knee a little closer towards you. Okay, so just release that, bring your left foot onto the floor. And then, so we're going to cross your top leg further over, so the legs are crossed together. So we're going to stretch your arms out sideways and come into a twist from there. So inhale first, and as you exhale, just let your knees drop over to the left side. And just let yourself roll to begin with. So see if you can bring that top knee to the floor. And then we're going to reach your right hand away from you and press your right shoulder blade back to the floor. So if that means the knee's got to lift again a little, that's fine. And notice what you feel through the side body there, so it's going to stretch through the whole side body. Movement into your spine. Okay, so inhale to come up. So just uncross your legs and bring your feet hip distance apart. So take this moment just to check in with how your body feels. Notice your right side compared to your left side. Okay, and then bring your left ankle across your, left ankle across your right knee now. So eye of the needle on the other side. Again, we'll just use your left hand. First of all, move the left knee further away from you. And then thread your hands through and hold the back of your right thigh. Again, you can hold the shin if that's easy for you. See the tailbones down. And just stay, breathe. So as you're bringing the right knee towards you, the left knee is still moving away from you. Okay, so bring your right foot flat onto the floor again now and cross your top leg further over. And then we're going to take your arms back out sideways to come into the twist on your other side. So palms are facing upwards, so stretch the arms, open your fingers. Now inhale, and as you exhale, drop your knees towards the right side. Again, you can just let yourself roll all the way to begin with, bring that top knee to the floor. And then reach the left hand away from you, so you're going to press that left shoulder blade back to the floor. And if you're comfortable in the neck too, you can turn and look towards your left thumb, so the opposite direction of the knees. If that feels a little too intense, you can either keep the head looking up or turned in the direction of your knees. Okay, then inhale to bring your legs back up and just uncross your legs. So we're going to take your belt next. So tucked up and angled one. So we're going to take the belt around the toe pads on your right foot and stretch your leg up. So you're bringing the leg at a 90-degree angle to your body. Now press the front of the thigh away from you to open the back of the knee. And if you walk your hands along your belt until the arms are straight, and then we're going to extend your left leg out on the floor. So stretch the heel away from you on the floor and roll the left inner thigh down. So you should be on the centre back of the heel there. And then we'll just gradually begin to see if you can bring the leg closer over towards your body. Again, press the front thigh away from you. So you're pressing the front thigh towards the back thigh. And as you bring the right leg towards you, your left leg will start to want to lift. So keep that thigh pressing towards the floor as well. Okay, so take your leg back to 90, and then we're going to change legs. So if you bring your left foot up to join your right in the belt, you've got both feet in the belt, and then stretch your right leg straight out on the floor. And just be at a 90-degree angle to your body to begin with. And press the front thigh away from you. Okay, and roll the right inner thigh down towards the floor. Bring yourself onto the centre back of that heel. Okay, but see that you're moving the left outer hip away from the waist. And then we just begin to see if you can bring the leg gradually closer over towards you. And again, press the front thigh away from your body. So if you do get to a point where you find you can't keep that knee straight, take your leg a little bit further away from you and just wait there. And see, is the outer hip moving away from the waist, or you started to shorten on that left side of your body? Okay, so bring your leg back to 90 degrees now, and then change your legs over. So we're going to take the leg out to the side this time. So we'll just bring your left foot a little further to the left, so line it up about with your outer hip. And then just hold your belt in your left hand for a moment, and we'll use your thumb to move the right outer hip away from the waist. And then, so you're going to hold your belt in your right hand now. So press the front thigh away from you, and really work your floor leg. So press your left thigh towards the floor. And then just taking the foot straight out sideways. And then, so give yourself some more belt if you need to, so that you can bring your elbow down to the floor. See if you can then bring your foot a little higher towards its own shoulder. But without bending that knee. So again, press the thigh away. And thinking you roll the left outer hip back towards the floor. Okay, so bend your knee to bring your leg up and then change legs over again. So you're taking that right foot a little further to the right. And again, just hold your belt in your right hand first of all. So use your thumb to move the left outer hip away from the waist. Then hold your belt in your left hand. Then press your right thigh towards the floor. So really work that floor leg to try and stop yourself from rolling as we take the leg out to the side. And then so give yourself some more belt. Bring your elbow to the floor. And then you can see, can you bring the foot a little higher towards the shoulder? Notice how that changes the stretch in the inner leg. It'll push your thigh away. And see how you begin to shorten again on that left side of the body. So keep the outer hip moving away from the waist. Okay, and then bend your knee now to bring your leg up. And then we'll just bring your legs down to rest for a minute. So if you just take your feet wide and rest the inner knees together. And just let your legs rest for a minute. Okay, so we're going to bring both feet up into the belt next. So we're going to take the belt around the heels this time. So bring your both legs up so that there's a 90-degree angle to your body. Now spread the toe pads. So if you stretch your inner heels up into the belt, so bring the big toe joint, the little toe joint level with each other. So press both thighs away from you. So the back of the knees are open. But grip your legs together as well. So I think the outer thighs drawing closer towards each other. And then from there, we're just going to release your belt and stretch your arms back out over your head. Okay, but the abdomen should stay quiet and going back towards the spine. So if you feel like you're really gripping there in the abdomen, just take hold of your belt again. So stretch your heels, push your thighs away, grip your legs together, and breathe. Okay, and then just bend your knees now and bring your legs down to rest for a minute. If you just take your feet wide, rest your knees together for a minute. Okay, so we're going to do 90 degrees, and then we're going to take the legs out to 60 degrees, and then we're going to take the legs to 30 degrees. Okay, now watch your lower back in this. So if the abdominal muscles are weak, your lower back will just pull away from the floor, which isn't good for your back. So if you find that, then you can either just go back to 90 with the legs, or just bend your knees and come down. Now to help to keep the length in the lower back, you can either hold the sides of your mat and pull the mat towards the foot end, or you can take your hands underneath the back of the hips. So if you know you're okay doing this, then we'll take your arms overhead. So if you bring your feet together, just bring your knees towards your chest first of all, and then stretch your heels up towards the ceiling. So bring your legs to 90. So push your thighs away, grip your legs together. Just hold that for a moment. And see that the abdomen's quiet and going back. And then bend your knees towards your chest. Okay, now shoot the heels away from you out to 60 degrees. So push into your heels. Breathe. And then bend your knees towards your chest. And then shoot the heels away from you now to 30. If you find that's too much, you can go higher, back to 40, 50, 60, wherever you need to. Okay, then bend your knees towards your chest. So once more to 60 again. So push the heels away from you, grip your legs together. Then bend your knees towards your chest. And just take a few breaths. So next time we're going to take the legs up to 90 and then lower your legs down straight from there. So again, if that's too much, you can just bend your knees and come down. So stretch your heels back up towards the ceiling. Now press the thighs away from you. So grip your legs together and then stretch the heels away from you now as you lower your legs down. So just going at a steady pace all the way down. So try and keep control on that last bit before they reach the floor. And then once you've brought your feet down, just join the soles of your feet together. So bring your feet close in towards your body and just let the knees release outwards, rest in Supta Baddha Konasana. So if you bring your arms down and rest them by your sides. And just allow your fingers to gently curl towards the palms. Now, if the groins are very tight, if you struggle with this, you can take your hands underneath the thighs to support them. Or if you do have bricks, or even cushions, you could just use a cushion. And take those right into so they're going underneath the thighs, but tucking right in at the top, underneath the outer hip. So just watch your breath now for a minute. So with your exhalations, the abdomen softening and settling back. Okay, and then to come off, if you just join your legs back together, so if you're taking supports underneath the outer hips, just move those out of the way. And then just turn yourself over to the side, and then we're going to come up to sitting. Okay, so we're going to come into seated forward bend next, Paschimottanasana. So if you might need your belt, have that there. Now, if when you're sitting on the floor you find that your lower back drops, then sit on some high toe blocks if you have them, or the equivalent, or you can even sit on a cushion if that's all you have. So if you just start by getting hold of the buttock flesh, then move that out of the way behind you, so that you're coming more towards the front of the sitting bones. So join the inner feet together and just bring your fingertips behind you. Lift your lower back, just lengthen your spine upwards. So press your thighs down towards the floor and roll the shoulders back, so bring your shoulders down, but move your back ribs forwards into the body. Okay, then stretch both arms up. Now as you come forwards, just be conscious that the pelvis is tilting forwards with you, and then either catch hold of your feet or take your belt around your feet if needs be. Now we're only coming into the halfway position here with the head raised, so we're not coming into the full pose and taking your head down. Okay, so press your thighs towards the floor and move the back ribs in. Okay, so we're thinking that band where we had the roll before, so around the bottom tips of the shoulder blades. And bring your shoulders back, so the collarbones are open. So if you're using the belt, you can see, can you creep a little further forwards again towards your feet? And again, move your back ribs in. So as soon as you feel the back beginning to round, then bring yourself back to where you can keep the chest lifted. And then just release your feet. Then come up for a moment and just let your legs relax for a minute. Okay, so we're going to do boat pose next. So we're going to come into it, we'll do a couple of variations. We're going to come into it with your legs bent. Now just make sure that you've nothing behind you, so I'm quite close to the wall. I'll just bring myself a little bit further away. So if you do find that you roll back, you're not going to injure yourself and roll into something. So if you bring both hands onto the floor behind you, now you're going to lift your lower back and feel that you're coming right up high onto the pointed parts of the sitting bones. And again, move the back ribs in. So that band of ribs around the bottom tips of the shoulder blades, so your chest bones lifting towards the ceiling. Now we're just going to lift your feet a little way away from the floor and balance on your sitting bones. Now again, lift your lower back. And then from there, we're going to stretch your heels away from you, straighten your legs. Again, lift your lower back, move the back ribs in, push into your heels, grip your legs together, breathe. Okay, and then bend your knees, just come down. Just come forwards, hold around your shin, take your head towards your knees and just rest for a moment. So let your head release downwards so that you're just stretching the back of the neck. Often in this pose, the effort of it, we can hold the neck quite tense. Okay, so when you're ready, we're going to repeat. So same way, bring your hands back onto the floor behind you. Lift your lower back first of all, right up onto the sitting bones. And move the back ribs in. So we can really get the back working there with the hands on the floor. Now, see, can you keep that working the back as you lift your feet away from the floor and balance? Again, lift your lower back, move your back ribs in. And then stretch the heels away from you, straighten the legs. Again, move your back ribs in, lift your chest, push into your heels, grip your legs together, and remember to breathe. Okay, and then just bring your feet down and just come forwards again. Hold around your shins, take your head down towards your knees. Now, if you really struggle with this one, you can keep the legs bent rather than stretching the legs out straight. So we'll just repeat that once more. This time, if you can, we'll raise the arms as well. So if you bring your hands behind you, now lift your lower back, come right up onto the sitting bones. So move your back ribs in, then lift your feet, balance. Now stretch the heels away from you, straighten your legs. So lift your lower back, move your back ribs in, and if you can, stretch your arms forward. But keep your chest lifted, breathe. Okay, and then, so just bring your legs from there straight into cross-leg position. And then we're just going to fold forwards And take your head down towards the floor. And breathe. So your breathing may be a little uneven after that last pose, so just allow it to settle in its own time. So just walk your hands in towards you to bring yourself up and change the cross of your legs over and walk your hands forward again and take your head towards the floor. And then walk your hands in towards you and just bring yourself up to sitting. And then just stretch your legs out straight and release your knees for a moment. Okay, so we're going to finish by taking the legs up the wall next. So you'll need a bolster if you have one. If you've not got a bolster, we can use the rolled up blanket instead. But I'm going to turn that the other way this time so that it will be more of a roll. Try and make it quite neat as well. That's a really scruffy roll. That wouldn't be very comfortable to be on. Okay, so you're going to have the bolster near the wall. Now we would take a brick behind it, so if you have a brick, otherwise you can just leave a gap the equivalent of that brick. So if you start off with the side of your hip onto the wall, sitting on your bolster, and then you're just going to swing yourself round and take your legs up the wall. Now, if your hamstrings are tight and you know that you struggle to keep the knees straight with the legs at a 90-degree angle from your body, you might need to be a little further away from the wall. So you want to feel that your tailbone is just releasing down in between the bolster and the wall. So there's a kind of, feels like a slight tilt to the pelvis. Okay, so lift your shoulders one at a time, just roll your shoulders under. So your arms can either rest out to the side, or you can rest your hands onto your lower ribs. So just allow your eyes to close gently. And if you just draw your chin towards your chest, so you lengthen the back of your neck. And if you could bring your attention to rest on the lower band of the ribs. And just observing the movement of the lower ribs with your breath. Abdomen quietening and settling back with each exhalation. then to come out, if you just bring both feet flat onto the wall, just press your feet into the wall to push yourself back off your support. So bring the back of the hips onto the floor and then just bring your legs into cross legs on top of your supports for a minute. And then just change the cross of your legs. Okay, and then we're going to stretch out fully for the last couple of minutes. So we'll come all the way away from the wall. Now just move your supports out of the way. If you've got any lower back issues and you want to take the bolster underneath the back of the knees, you can. Now just start by just rolling from one side to the other and moving the buttock flesh away from the spine, away from the back of the waist. So you're lengthening and spreading your lower back. So lift your shoulders one at a time, roll your shoulders under, and then just let your arms rest. So palms facing the ceiling. So draw your chin towards your chest, so the back of the neck's long. If your head does tilt back when you're on the floor, then just take something underneath your head. Letting go with your legs. So let the big toe descend towards the little toe. So if you've got the legs on the support, the legs should let go quite easily. So let your back muscles release, so lower back releasing towards the floor, upper back, middle back, and just letting the shoulders drop. Let the skin of your face soften and settle back. Feel that the outer corners of the eyes are softening and extending out towards the temples. Cheeks are hollow. The lips barely touching, just a gentle contact. Just letting your tongue soften and settle back. But be aware of the position of your tongue. So if your tongue's going off slightly to the left, are you tilting your head to the left? Or likewise to the right? Just allow your exhalations to flow through your body. So breathing from the crown of your head through to the toes. Letting go with each exhalation. And then just begin to take a few deeper breaths in. begin to just move your fingers and your toes first of all. And then when you're ready, if you bend up your knees, so if you're using the bolster, just use your feet to move the bolster out of your way. So turn yourself over to your right side and just rest there. So bring your upper arm so that it's underneath your head to support your head, and just stay there for a moment. Let the left side of the body descend towards the right. And then slowly from there, use your left hand on the floor. So keep your eyes closed, just lift yourself slowly back up to sitting. Cross legs if you're comfortable, or sit on your heels, stretch your legs out however you need to. So just bring your hands to rest on your legs. Lengthen your spine, head level. And take a minute just to check in with your body. And checking in with yourself mentally, emotionally as well. And now join your hands into prayer position, so bringing the thumbs to connect to your chest bone. And bow your head down, surrendering your brain towards your heart. So giving thanks for the practice of yoga. And then slowly open your eyes towards the floor. Slowly raise your eyes and your head to level. Namaste. Okay, so thank you all who are watching and practicing with me remotely each week. I hope we will see each other in the flesh in the not so distant future. If not, I will see you will see me on the screen again next week.